How to get back with ex-partners without having to beg. An unwanted breakup can be a pretty earth-shattering experience. Let's face it, there's very little positive that comes to mind immediately after a breakup. Whilst the reasons given might vary, having someone say, "I don't want you anymore," generally makes us feel pretty miserable. In fact, there can often be a fairly predictable set of emotions which are evoked by an unwanted or unexpected breakup. The grief process for any type of significant loss is well established. The first stage is shock and denial, usually followed by anger and sadness. Bargaining is the middle stage, with depression being the fourth. Much like the grief process, all these emotions are ultimately designed to lead us to acceptance, the final stage. But what if we don't want to accept the breakup? It begs the question of how to get back with ex-partners whilst avoiding the pitfalls of anger, depression, and desperation. Let's take a look at one of the biggest mistakes we can make during a breakup, and how to avoid it. Most frequently, it is during the middle stage of bargaining that those of us looking to get back our ex do the most damage. Perhaps we've already tried several things to get our ex to come back to us. We might have made promises to change our ways, or avoided relationships with others to harbor our chances of getting back the ex. Sometimes we'll throw ourselves at our ex, using any means we can to try to convince them to take us back. If these efforts fail, a dangerous mindset can take over. We can start to think that we will do anything to get back the ex. Even begging. It's perfectly understandable that when we're feeling desperate, we may feel the need to resort to pleading with our ex to convince them to take us back. We fool ourselves into believing that if they just say yes to having us back in their lives, things will change, past problems will be solved, and we'll finally find our happily ever after. Unfortunately, it's a false optimism. Looking at it objectively, we have to accept that begging our ex is designed to make them pity us. The resumption of a relationship founded something as fleeting and discretionary as pity is apt to lead to future problems. Rarely does it ever help us retain the bond we want with our soulmate, but it can easily lead to feelings of disrespect in our partner, and a lack of self-esteem in ourselves. In other words, begging is a poor solution to our problem. Let's look at what else we can do. Firstly, consider the way we have been behaving since the breakup. Clearly, whatever we have been doing hasn't worked, so we need to reevaluate. Our goal is to let our ex know we still care for them, but in a way that permits them to convince themselves that they want to be with us, and that their lives will be better if they are. Not an easy task, right? Actually, there are some pretty well-defined steps we can take which make the whole process a lot simpler than it first seems. Importantly, we can't crowd our ex. We need to give them the space to make their own decisions. Sometimes this means acting a little counterintuitively. Let's look at an example. Next time we see our ex at a public place, rather than going up to them and effectively demanding attention, or shying away with embarrassment, simply acknowledge them. Say hello, then go about your business if it seems like they aren't looking to engage with us. This helps make them feel comfortable with our presence, which can be a massive step in itself. If nothing else, this change in our behavior can get our ex thinking, oh, you still call your ex? If so, ease off the frequency. After a while, give them a quick call and just let them know you were thinking about them. Ask a few questions, keep it casual, and then end the call on a positive note. Don't let it linger too long, or get into territory about your actual relationship. The key here is to let them know we're still interested, but without compromising our own integrity. This type of tactic is just one of many which can get our ex actively thinking about what they might be missing out on by not being with us. The beautiful thing about taking stock of our situation is that it helps us avoid a back ex get or beg mentality and remain empowered in our dealings with our ex. For some of us, that's an unusual experience, but it's always a positive one. Imagine being able to deal authentically with a breakup instead of feeling like a victim.